and welcome to Star Wars Saturdays. Star Wars Saturdays is an ongoing campaign of games I've been running for the Gauntlet community since December of 2017. Every month, I choose a new game, and we tell effectively an anthology series of stories that take place during the timeline of the original movies New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. After almost 2 years of this, we are now in the Return of the Jedi timeline. And as of the playing of this game, Jabba has just recently been victoriously killed by heroes of the rebellion, Princess Leia, as well as General Han Solo, and I don't know, did Luke have a rank? We'll call him a general because he was a Jedi, and evidently in Star Wars, all Jedi are generals, like by default. Laser sword, general. That's how it works. Don't worry, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. This month, before we're playing up until Gauntlet Con. If you're watching this and Gauntlet Con hasn't happened, you should totally join us. Gauntlet Con takes place October 24th through Thursday, October 24th to Sunday, October 27th of 2019. If you are a member of the Gauntlet Patreon, just get in and register for games. There are games that are wide open. If you're interested, and all you have to do is join the Patreon at a $2 level, and bam, you're in. If you're like, I don't know if I want to do this recurring thing, it's $10, and you're in the con as much as you can possibly eat. You don't have to worry about travel, and if you have free weekends, like a lot of people who work, then you don't even have to ask off time for work. It's great, and there are some amazing games up there. In fact, I'm running a Star Wars Saturday game called Hut Cartel, but that is not what we are doing today. We are playing my hack of Night Witches. Now, Night Witches is a brilliant game. I would consider it art. It's by Jason Morningstar, put out by Pulpit Games. It was thoroughly researched, and it is about female Russian bomber pilots in World War II. And again, this is art. This is an amazing experience. I've hacked it for Star Wars, so I am a terrible person. Please forgive me. But hopefully we can keep at least the tone and the vibe of what Night Witches is about in our Star Wars hack of it. And again, anything that we do that is not at all Night Witches, it's on my shoulders. And I accept that burden. I hope that you guys are okay with that. So let's introduce each of our players, and then we'll have them talk a little bit about their characters. Actually, I have a different frame for that. Let's just get to know each of our players, and then our introduction of our characters will be how we see them visually as they are arriving on a shuttle to the Rimsey station, which is where they will be trained. So let's just start off by introducing ourselves to this wonderful cast of players, all of whom I've played with before, and I'm very thrilled. I've never had this exact permutation of amazing players, so this is going to be exciting. I'm going to start off with our special guest. Garrett, if you wanted to introduce yourself and anywhere people can find you, and so, anything you'd like folks to know about you, go for it.
Sure. I'm so happy to be here, Rich. My name is Garrett, he, him, and I'm back in Germany. I'm German, but I lived for quite a while in Central America, and that made me somehow part of the American crew of Gauntleteers, but that now I'm happy to be back because Saturday mornings is our evening, so it's dark and I feel perfect for going into the sky by night and seeing the stars. You can find me on Twitter and on the Gauntlet Slack, and yeah, these two are the best places to find me, I would say.
Thank you, Garrett. Let's stay across the pond, as it were, and Sabine, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns. I'm German as well. And I've been with the Gauntlet for a while now. I've been in several other of Rich's games, of Star Wars Saturdays, and I want to get into more of them, but they're always filled so quickly. Damn. Well, anyway, you can find me on Twitter, you can find me in the Gauntlet Slack, and I think that's about it. Yeah.
Thank you, Sabine. Bethany, good morning. Afternoon.
Morning.
Wow, I'm so used to Saturday mornings.
Yes, it is afternoon for me too. Even though I'm in the US, as you can probably guess from my accent. Hi, I'm Bethany. You can find me on Twitter or on itch.io and occasionally on the Gauntlet Slack. Yeah, that's about it lately.
Cool. Thank you, Bethany. And then free from baby watching duty, I still think he's like, you get to be a newlywed for a year, so you get to be a new dad for at least as long. Keith is with us. Hey, Keith, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, we're at 3 months, so I still consider it very new, and my wife has graciously taken on baby duties so I can fly amongst the stars. Keith Stetson, he, him pronouns, gamer, designer, educator, and new dad in Pennsylvania. And it's partially due to my baby that I got to play in this one, because I was not asleep when Rich posted it at like 0:30 in the morning, and I said, oh, I can get to play with Rich again. Thank you very much, crying baby. And I pounded that button, and here I am.
Yay! That's great. Well, so I'll send a thank you card to the baby. That's fantastic. Again, this is Night Witches. I'm calling it Witch Squadron or Night Witch Squadron. The frame is that all of you are recruits, specifically for a new regiment of bomber pilots. And you are attached, you're being training in Rimsey Station and attached to a very particular fleet, which we will get to know very soon. But first, we begin with not just the four of you. There are a few others who are all... I'm kind of biting from the Aliens movie. If you remember the dropship in the Aliens, that's the second movie. If you don't know, you should totally watch it. But it's one of those where the harness comes over your chest and it kind of ratchets you in, and you guys are all lined up on little benches facing each other. And this is where we will get to introduce our characters. And I think maybe just as a little cheat, maybe you have some kind of lapel if you wanted to give your name, that somehow we can see that. So we will start, and as you introduce your characters, I'm going to transition to using your player character names, and then we'll go through. All of you have applied to become part of the Alliance to Restore the Republic. Perhaps you were soldiers, or perhaps you just signed up because the tide is turning. The Empire is going down. They've destroyed a Death Star. There's no mention of another Death Star. Like in all of the Rebel recruitment stuff, they don't mention the second Death Star, guys. Trust me, you don't know. And you just have bad luck. You got indoctrinated here. But all of you are here on this particular shuttle that is about to dock with Rimsey Station, where you'll be trained to become bomber pilots, which is very prestigious and incredibly dangerous career that you're about to partake in. So we'll start with Keith. So Keith, when the camera comes across and we see your character, what do they look like? Give us a little bit of a rundown of who we see.
So my character is Amon Calamari, which you definitely know if you've seen Star Wars or memes. Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. One of those folks, particularly lean and lanky, and you can tell that they take great care in their appearance and are very much into the acceleration heading down towards the planet. Looks like someone who might be going down on a roller coaster. Like the eyes are lit up with enjoyment, and there's smiles creasing the edge of the mouth. This is why they signed up. This sort of adrenaline rush, and we'll get into whether or not that's going to be a good thing for us or not. And you can see the glint on the little lapel pin that says Cobb Egray as the ship descends.
Nice. Thank you for pronouncing Cobb, because I was like, how does he pronounce that? Now I know. Fantastic. So when the camera pans over to you, your character, what do we see?
Yeah, well, my character is a Weequay. He sits across from Cobb, and you can see that he already hates that guy because he hates everything about this whole thing. he wears a uniform that is maybe a kind of major's uniform, but without the insignia. It's a bit inappropriate, and he may tell you the story if he feels like it. He's wearing these pilot glasses, I guess, and he seems not only it's not personal that he hates cop, he hates everybody. He hates the whole thing. Yeah, it's just like, oh my god, how did I get here? That's what his face says. How did I get here?
And then seated right beside Grosk Tarvo, it's an editor's note because we don't see his name. He's got the incorrect uniform. He wouldn't have a name tag on. Is Garrett's character. Garrett, please introduce. What do we see of your character?
Well, not much, because I got the security belt wrong. And now, while we are flying down, I have to correct that, and it's quite a struggle for me, and I'm just like hanging there like flying through the jungle. I'm flying down to this planet, and my character's name is Dalul, and Dalul is a Quarren, so they live on the same planet as the Mon Calamari, and I joined, and this just comes straight through my mind again because of a dream, because I'm a dreamer. I sometimes dream, and Dalul was with her mother and telling her about the dream. And we don't know yet about the content of the dream, but both nodded to each other. And then she left the production hall where wonderful glass from the Crowan are produced, and waved goodbye with tentacles to her mother, and went to the same landing site where also Cap went, and joined Cap on this mission. Because something has to happen between Cap and Dalul to make this dream come true.
Fascinating. I love that we've drawn a fine point on that. Very, very cool. Across from our Quarren is Bethany's character. Bethany, please, who is it that we see?
You see the kind of largish purple-skinned person named. So, okay, I made possible mistake, possible not mistake of choosing a species I know nothing at all about. I've seen all the Star Wars movies. I've read several of the extended universe books that don't count anymore. I have no idea what the species is. I just thought they looked cool. Anyway, so if I get something very horribly wrong, let me know. Anyway, they are fiddling with a little thing that they're it looks like they're making some sort of little sculpture or something out of, Star Wars Play-Doh, some sort of small modeling compound. And as the ship starts to go down, they kind of ball it up in a big blob and put it in their pocket. And this is Yogan or Jogan, or I'm gonna say Yogan because that sounds more, I don't know, sounds more appropriate somehow.
Love it. It's Yogan. That is fantastic. The shuttle docks with an airlock for Rimsey Station, which sits in a geosynchronous orbit over Rimsey 2. And when you reach that main airlock, there's the loud sound of the coupling, and then you hear the depressurization, and then everything slides open, and a 4th Air Army military policeman steps in and says, "Recruits!" And your harnesses all release. I think that that is when Dalul, you are able to extricate yourself from the horrible harness. And he says, this military policeman is human. He's got a very short cut, like a crew cut. His uniform looks nice and crisp, effectively brand new. And he says, "All right, If you are training to be in the new Night Bomber Regiment, you need to speak to Sergeant Talik Aben in the Logistics Area 6. Request the following items: service uniforms, flight suit, 1 week's rations, and, of course, directions to the 588th Trainee Barracks. He looks at you, Delul, and says, please repeat this to me to make sure that I know you have it. Very well. And then he looks to Yogan and says, you are to request the following items: service uniforms, flight suit, 1 week's rations, directions to the 588th Trainee Barracks. Please repeat this list to me.
Service uniform, flight suit, 1 week's rations, directions to the 588th Barracks.
Very good, very good. Now again, you speak to Sergeant Talik Abbott in Logistics Area 6. All right, move along. Move along. He gestures for all of you to step out, and you come out of the shuttle. Now, this shuttle, it does not, like, it's an old enough shuttle, and it's in constant service, that the oxygen filtration is not great. So when you step into the station, while it's like, have you ever been in a like a big stadium, and it's like a dome stadium or any enclosed area where it's been air conditioned air for so long that it's nice, it's the perfect temperature, but it's the kind of thing where you almost feel like you're going to get a nosebleed if you stay there for too long? That's the feeling you get when you step onto Rimsey Station. Rimsey Station, until 6 months ago, was an Imperial station. It was taken over during a raid by the Alliance to Restore the Republic, which is what the official name of the rebellion is. And the rebellion has converted it to a training facility. Yes, it is very, very wet here. And so everything is the style of like the 70s sci-fi from the original Star Wars. You know, remember how things looked whenever there were scenes with on the Star Destroyers and the Death Star and the like. So there are no handrails in particular areas that should have handrails, but lots of cool metal tones. And there are a number of other recruits coming in here. Hustle and bustle, lots of soldiers, people in flight suits, that nice bright orange flight suits. And the four of you are all assigned to head and try to find Sergeant Talik Aben in Logistics Area 6. So who leads the way? The four of you are kind of shuffled off of the shuttle, and within seconds you hear the airlock cycle and that shuttle takes off again. You see some other people kind of coming out of a shuttle that's just across another docking bay. So I'll just ask Delul, you and Cobb, you guys know each other? Or have you conversed with Cobb since you showed up to fulfill this dream?
Yes. Like, while we were on this trip, that was a long journey. And I tried to get in touch with him, right?
Cool. What is one thing that you like about, that you find interesting about Cobb?
I find it very interesting that Cobb is not interested in sculpturing, because I think sculpturing is very important for Mon Calamari. And making proper sculptures out of glass especially is like one of the best goods the whole planet has. Having no idea about sculpturing, that is interesting or irritating. Maybe he's not into art at all.
Perhaps. So Cobb, Delul introduced herself to you. What's your general opinion of the Quarren? Historically, Quarren and Mon Cal have fought over the same seas on your home planet many times. The Mon Calamari are those who have kind of generally come out on top. The Quarren, of course, are always suspicious, like, you know, they're othered a little bit within the Mon Calamaris. So what's your general opinion of Delul in the brief time that you've gotten to know her, been in the same shuttle and ship with her?
Well, I'm not quite sure the reasoning for coming, but I think it's great that she wants to pitch in. And I think there's like a little bit of almost patronizing big brother thing. Like, yeah, you got this. You totally got this. You're going to do great. And I think when she's asked to repeat the directions in canned, that Cobb's kind of like, yeah, that's a hand to the shoulder. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Meanwhile, thinking there's no way I would have been able to repeat that. I didn't know I was supposed to be listening in the first place. But sort of like, I'll make sure you're okay. We're from the same place. I know we've had our differences. You know, who's killed more of whose people, I don't know. But it's fine.
Nice. So, of the four of you, who is it that decides to lead the way to try and find this Sergeant Talik Abbott in Logistics Area 6?
I'm definitely trying to move towards the middle/back of the pack and hope that Yogan, based on their very excellent answering of the previous questions, may be taking a leadership position.
Oh, I mean, Jürgen totally starts going off in a direction.
I'm gonna follow him. He seems to have remembered stuff, and if he goes wrong, then we get lost, and that could be nice.
Awesome. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have you engage your first move. I think you're trying to size up a situation and find your way to Sergeant Talik. So let's have you roll eyeball. When you size up a person or situation, roll plus skill. We already have our roll for your party link up with my terrible hack job Photoshop of the Night Witch's cover to have a Y-wing on it. And so let's have you roll 2d6 plus your skill. What is your skill? I don't think it's going to be that great. Oh, you got a 1 in skill? Goodness, you might actually have been the right choice for this.
Yeah, I noticed everyone had a 1 in luck and decided to maybe swap it out and get a little bit more balance in there. So let's see. Let's see if Roll for Your Party is going to cooperate today. It did. It not only cooperated, but I have an 11.
Wow.
That's 12 because of that 1 in skill.
Nice. Okay, so on a 10 plus, you hold 2. Spin to hold now or later to ask a question. Take a +1 forward when you act on the answers, or give a +1 forward to another and share in the outcome if you prefer. The questions are on the tab for moves under day moves, starting at row 3. Do you see them?
Yep. What am I overlooking?
Ah, cool. So what are you overlooking? You glance around for a little bit and you realize that it's subtle, but there are painted lines, several different colored painted lines that are kind of filigreed into the side panels of the floor. And you see a couple of other trainees who seem to be heading along the particular colored line. Like one of them looks at a data pad and then they start heading quickly off.
Cool. Do I'm like trying to remember. Did he say a particular color? I don't remember. What the hell? Just let's follow a colored line.
Nice. So you guys head down the colored line. You pass by. There's an actual like a squad of rebel soldiers who are marching past in formation. They halt. Their uniforms look good and crisp, and that is when, as you guys are being passed by them, I don't know if you like move out of the way because they don't really make room for you. The squad is two shoulders deep, 2 person abreast, and I think Grosk, you see just like a hint at the side of this guy's neck. You see the telltale like circle with the little like gear. It's an Imperial tattoo.
Yeah, these guys move like Imperials anyway, so I'm not surprised.
What do you do?
Nothing. What should I do? Should I yell at him, hey, you're an Imperial? If people got to know, he's showing it off to the world.
Oh, you do? You just yell that out?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're saying
I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not here exactly. It was a long story. Well, I don't actually care that much. So Imperials, these guys move like Imperials. If it quacks like an Imperial and walks like an Imperial, it's probably not that difficult, not that different from an Imperial, right?
So you guys head along, following the blue line that Yogan has figured out might be the route that you need. And before long, you see that there is behind like a little counter. You see that there's a person, looks like a supply clerk, effectively. And sure enough, this person does have sergeant bars on his uniform. He is not human. He has chalk white skin. And he is a species known as the Ratataki. The Ratataki are from a very barbaric culture. He is well muscled. He looks like he is, from human standards, maybe in his 40s. And you can mostly tell that from like the crow's feet at his eyes kind of deal. But he's got like a bunch of scars along his arms. And if you take a look on the squad summary, you can see a picture of what he looks like. So they have these like weird little tribal tattoos on their face and dark eyes. And you see that his name is Talik Aben, the sergeant in logistics. What do you guys do?
Kind of waiting on Yogan to see if they're going to do anything. Got us this far. I mean, we know whose lead we should be following.
Yeah, I think that I think that Yogan, rather than like try to rattle that off, just like assumes that everybody gets the same thing when they come in. It's like, hi, we're new recruits.
Nice. Cool. So he says, oh, new recruits, huh? Okay, great. Good luck. Don't die.
Yeah, we were sent to pick up our standard stuff from you.
Give me your data pad. He reaches, you kind of hand the data pad with your orders.
Mm-hmm.
He glances over it, but you can tell he doesn't like stop to read it. He kind of maybe just sees a couple of symbols. Well, let me see. Runt. Ain't your mother? I don't have any boots or field rations, so go choke yourselves. Here's what we got. You can pick from that. Got some nice used uniforms that probably won't. He looks over at sorry, Rich's don't learning names. He looks over at you, Delul, and says, probably won't fit. As he looks at a quarren, thinking about a particular room. We got Sheb-stained A-wing in packing crates. No time to assemble it, and endless shovels. So if you need a shovel for any reason, then you've got it. Otherwise, here's what we have. And he pulls out, you see that there are flight suits. One of them has, like, it's been hastily patched, but it is obvious that it was probably something that was quite extremely painful for the last pilot who wore it. And yeah, the orange flight suits that you have, and you get a set of unadorned and very scratchy looking uniforms. And then he slaps some boots. I don't think Quarren have human-sized feet, do they?
No, we don't.
Yeah, these are human-sized boots.
Yeah, what shall I do now? Going barefoot?
Yeah, but take a shovel. They're free.
Yeah, he hands you a shovel. There you go. You want a shovel.
I
don't
thought
know
that
what
was
you'll
a
do on a
joke
bump.
with the shovel. Are there
don't
any
really
office
know.
jobs left?
No,
No.
you're going to be a bomber pilot. I've seen your orders.
Cop, what about you?
We're all going to need boots for walking.
Maybe we could just slice them.
These
a
are the
little bit.
boots we have.
Oh,
Okay, runts. These are the boots you get.
Kind of lean over the
Listen.
counter a little bit to see if there's anything else under there.
Ooh, are you trying to act up? I think you're
I
trying to act
think
up a
that's what
little
I'm
bit
supposed
here.
to be doing.
Yeah, buddy, I love it. All right, so
What are you
when you
doing?
try to get your way, if you want to try to act like a hooligan, acting like a hooligan, so acting up means stepping out of your prescribed role as a demure, obedient soldier to get what you want. Hooligans are forces of disruptive reaction no alien should emulate. They're aggressive, tough, and possibly cruel. Underlings, who have no place in a war zone, are subservient, unobtrusive, empathetic, perhaps a little sexy. Soldiers of the Alliance are proud, patriotic, and take no poodoo from anyone. So, are you acting like a hooligan, an underling, or a soldier of the Alliance?
I would imagine that's a hooligan then.
All right,
So
then. Roll with luck.
I'm going to actually look over at his boots.
Oh, sweet. So you're looking at like the sergeant's boots?
Yeah, I'm looking
You'll
under the
see
counter.
that he only has one leg.
Oh, well, that's going to be tough.
Yeah. He only has one leg. The
Ooh.
other one is a prosthetic. And it looks like a not like cybernetic prosthetic.
So this is going to go well. That was a 5.
Okay, awesome. That's awesome. I'm very pleased with your 5. Okay, hold on just a second. Because on a miss, nope. Let's see. On a miss, there will be trouble. Cool. So what is it that you started to reach over? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm picturing like starting.
Yeah,
to
there's
be,
a counter, and he's
there,
got.
You sure you're looking everywhere? What about those? We
Cool.
try those?
Yeah, and so the Ratataki, if you remember, I described him as coming from a barbaric rural. He grabs you by the back of the head and slams your face into the counter. Please take 1 harm. And he says, "Listen, runt. I'm going to focus on acquiring a couple of ASF-01 B-Wing starfighter engines and all the poodoo that breaks down on those nerf herders. So I could go carking on about all the stuff I've got to do. You've got your stuff. You need to report to your regiment. You need to get to work. Or maybe I will call May Starfall and she will drag your carking behind after she uses a stunner on you. She will drag you there or the brig. Those are your choices."
I think we'll manage. Quack, cup. I think we'll manage with the boots.
All right, go see Senior Lieutenant Starfalls. Ask her for her in the 588's barracks. Just keep walking that way till you see the most crummy place that no decent being in their right mind will call home. Get out of my face.
Yeah.
Can I have some of these shovels if you don't need them?
He grabs 3 of them and he just throws them out of the counter, like past you guys, and it clatters on the metal.
Yeah, I'm taking
One
them.
up.
They're pretty good. Like, you could take a man's head off with these shovels.
Yeah, these are sharp.
They're damn good. All right,
So
cool.
hey, but if you take one, I say, hey, wait, get your own shovel. These are mine.
You're gonna carry all 3 of them.
Yeah, sure, I'm
Fine.
gonna carry
I'm
all
looking
3.
for a shovel.
These are mine.
I know that it may not be that big of a deal to you, Yogan, but your boots will fit perfectly. Like, they're totally your size.
Oh, that's see, that wasn't a big deal until I saw this, like the things that they handed to Quarren, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hold on to those.
Cool. So a few minutes later, you guys find the 588's barracks, and there is a black-furred boffin. She stands about 5'2", which I don't know how tall that is in meters, but it's short. She's a female boffin, and she's wearing a very well-used but fits pretty nicely orange jumpsuit, the flight suit. And when you guys come, like, she sees the shovel and she kind of chuckles to herself. It's like 1.55 meters. Okay, awesome. She chuckles a little to herself as she sees you guys carrying the shovels. She says, "I'm Senior Lieutenant May Starfell. Please, welcome. You are the new recruits."
Yeah.
Yep.
Pleasure
Great.
to meet you.
Great. Okay. And she looks across all 3 of you. She says, "You must be Yogan."
Yes, sir.
Sir, it's fine. Sir, it's fine. You're Jalul and Quab Egger?
Cobb, sir.
Cobb. Okay, good. And Grass Tarvo, right? Grass?
I'm just a shovel guy.
She smiles. We're going to be you're where you're supposed to be. We're going to divide you out into pilots and navigators based on your aptitude, but you'll be qualified for either seat. You're going to be flying Y-wing bombers. Okay. And it's real easy. Pilots in front, navigators in back. The bombers are simple. They've been in service on or off since the Clone Wars. That's 30, 35 years. Stuff can go wrong from time to time. Flying at night can be a little challenging. You'll be all making planet-side bombing runs. There will be these Y-wings, while they're a little more agile than, say, a B-wing, you're not really going to be getting into dogfights, so don't worry about that. I mean, that's what we have the X-wings and the A-wings for. So really, it's just as Mai, and she turns, she starts kind of walking and talking. She talks animatedly with her hands. Most important thing, memorize your cockpit layout, right? It's really easy once you know it to be able to operate no matter what's going on. Down and to your left, throttle, fuel mix lever, fuel cutoff switch, carburetor heat and elevator trim, left dash swing bank, piton heat, master battery, panel lights, 2 magneto switches. Don't forget your gauges, fuel, altitude, airspeed, heading, altitude. Yeah, all that's going to take care of all you need. Your climb rate is important. Oil pressure, temperature, always got to keep an eye on that. Luckily, you're in space, so it's not like you're going to overheat very often. I've already looked over your files. You guys are pretty mixed bag. And then she stops and kind of pivots a little bit on her heel and gestures. And you see that there's rows of racks like beds with foot lockers at the ends of them. See, there are a few other aliens who are there. They're in none of them are in the flight suits. They're all in the same style of uniforms that you guys see that there's one Jawa there. He's in like the rebel uniform, but he still has the hood on. And she says, so do you guys got all the information that you need, I assume. But it would be really good if we had a chance to get to know each other before you go and meet the regiment commander. So now this is where we kind of step out a little bit. And if you go to the tab called questions, this is where I'm going to, similar to the way Jim Crocker did it, instead of the NPC asking you guys all questions, I'm going to let each player character ask a question of one of the other player characters. You guys can do it in character, or we can do it on a meta level and just kind of deepen that. So if you look at the questions, I've tried to winnow those down to be more applicable to Star Wars, because there are some really super specific ones in Night Witches. Hopefully these will work for us. And if you think of one that you would rather hear from another player character, feel free. So I think the first question that I'll ask, that May Starfall would ask, is she would ask in particular, Grask, Sergeant Tavo, which job, pilot or navigator, would you prefer, and why?
Yeah, I'd like to be a pilot. I've piloted ships before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I have. Just little ones, right? But these aren't very big anyway.
No.
Mostly flying away from asteroids.
That's always a good idea. Flying towards asteroids never quite works out.
No, won't. Mostly they hit you, and then you have a broken carburetor, and then I guess that's what people tell me anyway.
Good. And so now I'll step back, because I definitely want to lead it off. So, Delul, did you have a question you wanted to ask of another?
Yes. I need to know from Cap what the Alliance intelligence, what kind of file they have of you, because they already have one. And how did you get around that black mark to join the regiment?
Alliance is these guys, right? The rebellion.
They're not just the rebellion. The Alliance intelligence is kind of like the internal affairs of the rebellion. They're the ones that can have informal interviews, that could potentially put you in the brig for being an Imperial plant, that kind of stuff.
So I'm picturing. I'm something suspicious back on the homeworld is Doc. Is that right?
Oh gosh, that is a great question.
Yeah, it is
I don't-
dark.
Okay, I know
cool,
you wrote
thank
it down somewhere. What would I have done? I feel like it was something youthful that was like, maybe it was a prank, but it was one of those, you really shouldn't have done that if you thought about it at all, and ended up being the kind of thing that actually maybe sabotaged inadvertently some sort of rebellion concern or propped up the empire, but it was really just supposed to be like, this will be a really funny joke. But the Alliance intelligence did not find it amusing.
Cool. The little light sabotage is a prank kind of deal. Rock on. So then I will check in with Jochen. Who would you like to ask a question of, and what would that be?
See, I think yeah, Dulul. Whose funeral did you miss by volunteering?
Pardon?
Whose funeral did you miss by volunteering?
Oh,
Training.
Well, when I was leaving, sorry, can you help me with these boots? I think they still don't fit properly. Just slice them a little bit further off. Yeah, I think it's better now. Thank you. Well, I'm still very sad that my father had another wife, and which is totally fine in my family. We've taken that tradition over from another planet, and that wife died, and she was very dear to my heart because she was about my age, and we played a lot together when we were younger, and I know I'm still very sad about this incident because she was also very eager to join the Alliance and also become a fighter. Maybe I'm somehow stepping into her feet because I think she would have been more equipped in terms of her skills and talents than I am.
Nice.
Sorry to hear that. Never
Graska,
mind.
Graska, who would you ask a question of?
I would ask a question of Yogan. And I would like to know, when we search your footlocker, wait, no, I can't ask you that. So, I mean, I can do that. Oh, I can do that, right. So
Yeah.
while you're all talking, I'm going to search your footlocker just to see what's in there. What surprising
Okay.
thing do I find?
What surprising thing? A datapad full of music, but it's not music from my planet. It's like, I don't know, what planet would it be from?
Rhodian opera.
There we go. Yes, it's Rhodian opera.
Yes.
Okay. I don't like Rhodian opera, so I'll leave it where it is.
Neither do I. My grandmother sent it with me.
That
really likes
I don't know. I don't know that. I now believe that you are a huge fan of Rhodian opera. So, well,
Best.
and there's no food in there, right? Damn.
No.
Damn. Well, then I'll leave the rest of the stuff in.
What about Cobb? Cobb Egre, who would you ask a question of, and what?
I'm curious to grasp what the Alliance to Restore the Republic means to you personally.
Yeah, well, if you ask me this, I will tell you that, it will mean a return to the rule of law instead of tyranny. And I will absolutely quote the manual about what this means. You might get the impression that it means to me mostly nothing. Maybe that the war is over and that I can go and have bad luck somewhere else.
Nice. Awesome. Were there any other questions? And these are things that we can also seed in as we go. But were there any questions where someone was like, oh, God, I've got to ask this question of so-and-so? Okay. Cool.
I mean, what did you lie about is always fun, but that's something we always find out later too.
I was looking at that question. I'm like, but I could ask that to anybody and it would be fun. There's no one in particular.
Yeah, exactly. It's not pointed at anyone.
All right, then I will ask because I want to know. Man, but like I want everyone to answer the question, but instead it can only happen to one of you. We're going to say this question is of Cobb. What happened the last time a crowd of ex-Imperial pilots made a joke about you or your species?
Is that like, are we picturing that happening here or somewhere else, or
be wherever you want? I mean, you guys are just recently arrived on Rimsey Station, so
Mhm.
it'll probably be somewhere else. In the ex-Imperial, maybe we just say it's rebel pilots. Could be Alliance pilots who maybe made a joke about the Mon Calamari. Humans, of course, because they're terrible.
oh gosh, I think I'm gonna go with a counter-typical answer. I bit my tongue and sulked off into the crowd rather than doing anything about it, hoping there were no witnesses.
Nice. I like that. Cool. And then I'll ask Trask. The right Grask. And I was like, no, that doesn't seem right. What did the Empire take from you, Grask?
Yeah, well, there was this time when I was just a little pilot guy, and then I was in a merchant kind of guild, and I had to fly some stuff from someplace to someplace else. And then the Empire came and said, "Hey, you're a weakway, you're a smuggler, so we take your cargo and you go to jail or something." I didn't go to jail because I wasn't smuggling it, but that was the time when last time I flew for the Merchant Guild, I guess.
Oh, nice. Cool. So I'm going to go around and make sure everybody's had all the questions they want to ask right now before we move on. So Dalul, did you have any more questions you wanted to ask?
You have so many questions because I don't know these people so well yet. But I'm wondering there's Yogan, and Yogan is somehow a little bit strange to me. So I was wondering what really happened when you because you were different, okay? When was it like to your advantage once? I mean, not everybody has feet. Quite the opposite, I would say. So, but sometimes it's also to your advantage. And the final question is like, how do you pay back in such cases? So, do you have something particular in mind? I'm looking at the question in row 22.
Yeah, the transport that brought me to meet the one that we met. It was the captain was also he wasn't my species, but he was some kind of alien, and he thought it was so cool that like, oh, you're non-humans are joining up, and I told him about this, like, oh, there's a squadron, we're all gonna, like, it's an entire squadron of non-humans, and he thought that was really cool, and he gave me like a really good deal on the transportation here.
Nice.
Because he liked the idea so much. He didn't want to join up, but he liked that it existed.
And so did you smile back, or what do you do in such cases?
I promised to contact him and tell him, how it was going and whether like it's whether what the rumors that I had heard were actually true and like this actually was a thing, or if they were just gonna, put us to work doing maintenance or something.
Well, that's
Nice.
how it works. Yeah, I see.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've got a question for Dalul, because there's this little holo picture. I imagine that you'll gonna attach it to your pilot's firer's dash. What is that? I can't make it out. Is it valuable?
Well, that was not supposed to be seen by anybody. I must have accidentally activated it.
Yeah, accident. Yeah, totally. Accidents
Rest-
happen.
So what you might have seen, and maybe I was lucky and switched to a different program, but maybe you saw me with that now dead stepmother, and we were like caressing our tentacles a little bit. That was quite intimate, and I don't know why we filmed it, but we were young, and such things can happen. And yeah, I'm afraid that this copy has already distributed itself among other channels as well. I really don't hope so. But it will stay with me and very close to me, because I mean she's dead now and I'm still a bit sad about it. Why did I tell you that? Kresk, you're so unfriendly, and now
I'm not I'm not unfriendly.
You took all the shovels.
Yeah, well, I took the shovels to have something. Sometimes you have to look out for yourself. It's not.
Argued with Yogan. I saw that.
No, he got his own shovel. If he hadn't gotten a shovel, I would have given him one, but he did. So it's all good. We have no more shovels. We have 5 shovels for 4 guys. So we're up on shovel. See? You see how that works? You gotta work the system, kid. You've gotta work the system.
I have a lot to learn here, I think.
Nodding with approval.
Awesome. Cobb, did you have one last question you'd like to ask right now?
I don't think anyone has asked the lie, so gotta ask somebody. Dalul, what did you lie about on your regimental intake form?
Lying?
Oh, it's
lying is very impolite, and you should know that. Quarren are not lying, and I know that for calamari, lying has an important tradition also in art. You might not know about that, but like in literature, I have read a lot about lying. But Quarren culture is not about lying. We just have flexibility about certain truths. And that is a very different thing you might not understand. But when I was registering, I had to fill out this long form, and it was complicated. And not everything was... It didn't fit well. But I had this problem with my heart. And, we have this double heart, and from my double heart, there's one part is missing, so I'm a little bit fragile. So I'm actually not supposed to sit in one of those things. But I can work through it. I'm very sure.
One of those things meaning a starfighter?
Yeah.
What did they say would happen if you sat in one of, kind of just pointing off into the distance?
So usually if you would ask a Quarren doctor, they would tell you not to go into space anymore. But as you can see, I made it here. So it's just another... These landing ships are worse than starfighters, I think.
Yeah, you'll be good. You'll be good, buddy. Kind of looking around at anybody else here.
And these other species doctors, they won't recognize anyway. They don't know about the double heart.
Could write a book about the things that they don't know.
Indeed, yes. Do your boots fit you now?
Well, I have to be flexible about that term of if they fit or not.
Yeah. I just strapped them around with some extra tape.
They cover the feet.
Yeah.
And we'll be sitting down most of the time anyway.
Protected by parasteel cockpit cover. Everything will be fine.
I think so.
And then last, Yogan, did you have any questions?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, sweet. So we're at our halfway point. We are going to go ahead and take our break. We'll make it a 9-minute break. It's 31 after, so we'll meet back at 20 till, and you'll jump straight into Mini Commander and going on your first flight. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
Rish, you know what? Sorry.
No, what's up?
For some reason, every time I play a character in one of your games, I'm like, oh, this is a really fun character. I don't know why that is.
You're a Star Wars fan. That's why. That's it.
Probably.
I blame Star Wars.
That's probably right.
I really like Grask. He's super interesting.
He's like, when I saw the choices for the species, I saw Weequay, and I thought, hey, wait, that Hondo guy is a Weequay, so that might be a good fit for a misanthropic guy.
Oh, I'm curious. Any progress on the Quake
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah, I have finished the flashback, and I'm now in the final things. But there, I have to write the trophy incursions that I want to give to Jason and Jesse, and that's
Priorities. Yeah, no, good call. Good call. Take care of those first. It won't.
Yeah.
It won't go anywhere. If you ever need me to feed you the links to the YouTube games, I'm happy to. All right. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that your break was restful, because there will be no rest for you now. Some time has passed, and all of you are dressed in your flight suits. You are headed out to the hangar bay, where you will be introduced to the regiment commander. May is leading you all out. She had all of you dressed in flight suits. She was not entirely. She didn't. She wasn't. She didn't explain why. She just said, "Go ahead and get dressed in your flight suits." And there was this like, a little smile to her face that said that maybe you might get up and get into space. So, as the four of you are following, as you are following May, I am curious, what is, just each of you get to give me one part of either your uniform, boots, any of your dress that is either uncomfortable or obviously not made for you in particular. We'll start with Yogan, as you are following May Starfall. What do we see?
Yogan's flight suit, like you can see that the sleeves only come like to here, and the pants only come like halfway to his feet. And like he's not that much taller than most of the humans. That was just the flight suit they gave him, was for a much shorter person. there are people in this regiment who are taller than him, but
That's great. I love it. And then what about Grask? What is it about your uniform that is ill-fitting or completely inappropriate for you?
I think it's the whole fact that that's a uniform. You can kind of see that Grass doesn't like wearing something that everybody else wears. And he has started to adorn his uniform with something like a Sharpie, and then has drawn, I don't know, spirals or stuff like on it. Just to not wear a uniform. And he's constantly trying to individualize his stuff, because I believe that. Because that's and it's probably dirty anyway, because he isn't clean stuff. Guys, I'm sorry.
What about Delul?
Well, our heads have a different shape, and my helmet is not fitting so well. So I had to use some extra straps to bind it together. We're a little bit like spiky, and then go it's like a triangle. So there's a lot of space, and I take a towel and put it around to make my head more curved, and then it should work. It might not protect me so well anymore, and it looks a bit ridiculous, but at least I wear my helmet as I'm supposed to.
And then Cobb, last but not least.
I think it's clear that it was just for a different body type, and everywhere that like it was supposed to accentuate muscles and look glamorous, it's just like limp and baggy, and it's tight across the wrong areas, and like kind of have to walk in almost like a shuffle to get where we're going, as opposed to big purposeful strides.
Nice. The four of you fall in behind Senior Lieutenant May Starfall, as well as a few others, and they're also recruits, it appears. And you are led to a hangar bay, and you see that the regiment's Y-wings are in formation along a flight lane. Each of the fragile crafts are lovingly tended by a pair of mechanics/armorers. Senior Lieutenant Starfall forms up into rough order and salutes a very stern-looking Twi'lek female who's wearing gold shoulder boards. That means on her uniform, it means she is a major. That is huge. This may be one of the most decorated non-humans in the Alliance to Restore the Republic. Next to her is Captain Quain Greyhelm, who you recognize because he was organizing the shuttle transports for you guys to get to Rimsey Station. And there's several other officers. The major, each of you guys you're soldiered enough to know how to form up into a line, and the major looks all of you over. Welcome to the regiment. I'm Mary Tobin, your commander. I'll expect you to comport yourselves at all times as true soldiers of the Alliance to Restore the Republic. This is my Chief of Staff, Senior Lieutenant May Starfall. You've met her already, as well as our Logistics and Training Officer, Sergeant Talek Aben. And that's where you see the Ratataki with his peg leg. And then you see a pair of humans. One of them, he looks very, like, his hair looks just a little bit on the unkempt side, but everything about his uniform is perfect. And then there is a female, dark-skinned female who is very attractive. She says, "This is our regimental policy advisor, detachment from the Alliance Intelligence, Athan Dala, and his assistant, the deputy policy advisor, Cressida Carr. Now, we will fly these," and she turns and points to the Y-wings behind her. The BLB-B Y-wing. It's a simple two-seat bomber. It's been determined to be ideal for our missions by the great operational minds of the Alliance to Restore the Republic, and we are certainly not going to doubt their wisdom in this matter. Let's talk about our first mission, shall we? This is your training mission. And if all of you players will go to the duty station 1. So mission A is what we are talking about. The four of you will join into a sector and perform mock bombing on a target range just outside of Bogos, which is a rebel-held city on Gimsi here in the Rimsey system. You'll enjoy some aggressive fighter-bomber escort from the ex-Imperial 217th Assault Regiment under Captain Quain Greyhelm. And she nods to the guy that brought you guys over. Wayfinding roles are optional. Potential enemy fire is actually friendly fire from the 217th X-Wings or nervous anti-aircraft crews. Anyone who participates advances and must choose deepening ties and regard. And now she looks over the four of you, and I'm going to roll a d4. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to roll a d4 to see who it is he's chosen as section leader for this. Here we go. And her eyes, they fall upon your Kashiri member, Yogan. Sergeant Yogan, you'll be section commander. Section leader. You will choose for each starfighter who will be pilot and who will be navigator. There will be 4 bombers, 4 Y-wings in this action. And this is where we kind of move to a little bit more mechanical players talking. You guys can chat a little bit amongst yourselves, but ultimately it is Bethany's decision. And you can grouse all you want, but them's the breaks. Just to be clear, in order to be able to participate in combat activities, i.e. get out of this duty station, you guys will have to make at least one successful wayfind and attack run move in the 3 training missions that we have, A, B, and C. You can look at it on the duty station. So keep that in mind. That said, the wayfinding roles are optional for this first mission. So if you're nervous about it and you'd rather wait, you can. But at some point, you'll still need to make a wayfinding roll. The navigator makes the wayfinding roll. The pilot makes the attack run. And we will need other NPCs to fill out your roster, but we'll go ahead and have Yogan go ahead and assign the player characters, and then we'll stick NPCs in where we like.
Well, I know being an adventurer made me adept at skids down, which seems like a piloty thing.
Yep.
Although, what is adept actually? Is that like a mechanical thing, or just telling you fictionally?
I think that you
There is a
will.
mechanical.
Yeah, I think it's a move that
Okay.
you won't start off with, but you get, right?
It's a move that everybody gets, but when you roll a 7 to 9, you have to choose one less consequence than anyone else would doing the same thing. So it's actually really good. If I'm remembering that right. Wait, no, that's right. I think.
I think Grask will kind of explain that he knows how to pilot a ship. He doesn't know anything about navigating.
Oh,
I would like to have a competent partner because I'm still practicing.
everyone would like to have a competent partner.
We just don't have enough to go around.
Everyone would like to have a uniform that fits. They're just
The Wookiee in the really nice uniform says, I'm fine taking someone incompetent. No.
everyone would like to have boots that are shaped for their species. No, look at this real quick. Yeah.
Cool. So as Yogan is looking over this and trying to make a decision on his data pad, you notice that Tobin, the regimental commander, she's getting into a Y-wing of her own, and this Y-wing has been retrofitted to house an astromech, and this astromech is one of those rolly droids, and the astromech, I will share a picture because the regiment commander refers to it not by a designation but calls it Vasani, and Vasani is a magnetized rolly and rolls itself up on and kind of pops into the little astromech pod on the Y-wing.
Cool. I have assigned people.
Sweet. Then we need to fill out the rest of the section info. It looks like we will need. Oh, cool! So you've got everybody paired up. That's exciting. Sweet. So we need a pilot and a navigator for 2 different reserve starfighters. So with the first starfighter, we should give them like tail designations before they get names. We will start with Jalul, first starfighter. Give me 4 digits, and that will be the designations. On the section info tab of our thing is just to the right of squad summary right now. You can see under first starfighter. Actually, Yogan gets to call this out. So
Okay.
Yogan,
Okay. Yeah. Sure. So, well, they didn't have numbers, so.
No, that's good. That's the right call. We'll give them numbers.
But Grask will be flying the first starfighter. There's the number. And I will be wayfinding. Grask will be Venomaya for the second starfighter, which will be flown by Cobb, who will be doing the lead attack run, and Lul will be navigating, and also Venomaya for the first plane.
Okay. Awesome.
I
Venomaya is
have not.
wingman.
I'm sorry, I've not found the pairs.
Oh,
I'm
it's
sorry.
section info tab.
I'll screen share.
Yeah.
So you can see it. There's the thing. All right, cool. So if you take a look at squad summary, which is where we have the listing of all the NPCs and a sum up and a picture of the Y-wing, directly to the right is another tab called section info. So here's the pilot. For first starfighter is Grask, and navigator is Yogan. Pilot for second starfighter is Cobb, and navigator is Delu. Make sense? And if we move over here to moves, which I'll move closer to our other stuff so we don't have to go through a bunch of tabs. Directly to the right of section info is moves. You guys will be making the following moves. Venomaya, which is wingman, wayfind, and attack run. These are the moves that you'll be using. Good?
Yes, Cap.
All right.
I know that we will make it. I know. Don't be worried. We won't return unharmed, but we will make it.
This is just a practice run. No, nobody should actually be getting hurt.
We will
Nervous-
make it.
Nervous Cobb
Let's
is the
focus on the positive part.
Yeah, okay.
It's like a deep dive, but sooner or later you come to the surface.
Here's how we're going to invent our 4 fellow pilots and navigators. I'm going to ask each of you to give me a species, and then I'll pick a name from the species. So we will start off with Cobb. As you look into the third starfighter, what species do you see climbing in to the cockpit?
It's got to be that Jawa.
Nice. All right, let me go over here and grab for some Jawa names. Opteg Kalilikuk is going to be section info. I'll just stick them right there. Next, we will ask, by we, I mean I, will ask Grask, what is the species you see climbing in with Opteg? Oh, you're talking to me.
Yes, I am
There you are.
not mute now. Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so I have to choose somebody in the. Huh?
Oh, sorry. Just look here on the names, or unless there's the Star Wars species that you know, a non-human
Yeah. Okay.
species. Just choose the species.
Okay. Okay. I think it's the Wookiee.
Yes, the Wookiee with the perfectly fitting.
Yeah.
So we'll call them Rorwa. We'll go with Rorwa. Lieutenant Rorwa. That's the best. And with the Wookiee with the Jawa. Oh my God, that's great. That's great. And Yogan, if you can go ahead and give them assignments, we won't roll for them, but just so we have an idea. And then we'll ask Delul, what is the species you see getting in the last reserve starfighter?
Well, it's another Quarren.
Another Quarren? Oh, man.
Yes. And I see it too late. It's like I hadn't seen him at all before.
Ploen. Oh, and how did Ploen handle his helmet? Because it seems to be in much better shape than yours.
He has a proper helmet, one which is fitting.
That's not fair.
It's a
Maybe
Quarren
he'll die
helmet.
and maybe he'll die and leave his helmet behind. He'll be okay. All right, and then last but not least, Yogan, getting in the navigator section behind the reserve starfighter. What species is that?
It's a Gamorrean.
Yes. Oh my God, the big belly trying to fit in there.
They've
I'm
really
gonna-
had to adjust these seats a lot.
Yeah, Grughung is the last navigator. That is the best. Beautiful. Cool. So yeah, we've got first, second starfighter, third starfighter, reserve starfighter. That's as good as anything. I'm not going to make us come up with a bunch of sorry, the note in the chat was the best note. Good. All right. So we are you're flying out. So let's get a couple of snippets of how things work. So the way that the Y-wings are going to work is you're currently sitting at a hangar. I don't know if you can just kind of imagine maybe in Return of the Jedi or any of the ones which are like onboard space station. They've got this like invisible field that keeps keeps it from venting out into space, but you can see the vista of looking out into space. The Y-wings are here. This hangar is one of the smaller hangars at Rimsey Station. It's more than enough to handle this many total of five five Y-wings. The fifth Y-wing being the one from your regimental commander, who'll be observing your bombing run. And so you guys are going to be making a very simple action. If you look in the duty station, it's a daylight mock bombing on a target range outside of a rebel-held city. So you guys will get out. You need to actually plug in your coordinates. That is wayfinding, and then be able to wayfind your way to Gimsey and then Bogos, which is the city, find the bombing area, and then the pilot makes the attack run. The way that it works is for the Y-wings taking off, they sit on skids. You spark up the engines. It lifts up. There's a small engine that kind of lifts it up, but then thrust forward and you go through the actual shield, invisible kind of force field, effectively, and out into space. Luckily, the Y-wings are airtight, so while you are wearing your flight suit and helmet, with your mask and all that good stuff, just in case there's a mishap, it is relatively comfortable-ish in there, although a little smelly, and it is old. So I am curious, and we'll get each of you again. The Wayfinder, and if we take a look here at the squad summary, we can kind of get a look at the Y-wing here. You guys are both here, and I'm going to go for the classic style, like in the Snowspeeder of Empire Strikes Back. So you guys are back to back, pilot facing forward, navigator facing behind. The navigator also has access to, if you can see, there are laser cannons on the front, but then there's also proton torpedo launchers, and so you can kind of switch those controls back and forth. Of course, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for the navigator to control the forward lasers, but there are a pair of lasers that aim behind, and then the turbo lasers, you can bring that up through targeting. So that is one thing. I will shut up before I talk too much, because then it's going to be overwhelming. What I want to know now is, since our first starfighter will be the lead, Grask, you get to pilot us out. You said you've flown things before, just lifting up and flying out of this hangar. What do we see from Grask in his not exactly up to specs uniform that he is personally modified? But what's his style? What's it look like as he is piloting right now?
Well, his style is pretty careful. I think he's not. I mean, he can go very flashy, but he won't during takeoff, because if you go flashy, people notice you, and then they say, "Hey, you can take point," and he doesn't want to do that. And as we take off, or just when we're in the cockpit, he will look behind himself, look at the Yogan, and say, "I have a very bad feeling about this," and then he will hit the thing, and we go off.
What is wrong with you people? It's a training run.
Poor Yogan.
Yeah, things can go wrong on training runs. Trust me, I've seen training thingies that, well.
Everyone in the section is so paranoid.
That's just experience.
Cobb, you are the pilot on this second starfighter. What is it that we see as you lift her up and fly out of the hangar? What do we see inside the cockpit?
Visibly restraining myself to not slam down on the throttle immediately after getting up in the air, trying to just ease it forward. Just okay, I can get away with that. Okay. But as soon as we clear, just right up behind Grask, because that's the lead fighter. I'm not going to pass. That would be inappropriate, but trying to encourage the first one to go a little faster, perhaps.
And Delul, have you set up your little hollow of your kind of stepmom?
Kind of stepmom hollow on.
Oh, the hollow picture of
Yes.
your father's other wife.
It is just next to me, but it dropped, unfortunately, on the ground, and now I have a hard time getting there because the security belt is once again wrong, and I'm getting a little bit nervous and putting it on and on again, on and off. Oh, I have my holo back, and suddenly we are already up in the air. I need to get used to this cockpit. There are quite a lot of controls here. But I think I have it under control, this control system. Is this really just a training run?
We see that Optig has asked for and received several extra seat cushions so that he can look over the dash. And then Rorwa, who is the Vedomaya navigator behind him, is kind of hunkered down because he is a Wookiee and far too tall for this. Optig has pretty steady hands, and he follows behind you guys. He kind of drifts a little bit, but then occasionally will pay. Oh, I'm paying back attention again. He'll come back, and then the Y-wing will like drift out of formation a little bit, and then tackle back in. You have a feeling that Rorwa is reminding Optig of when he falls out of formation, and then Pwoen Warrock, the Quarren, is a little shaky. Like the skids don't come up well enough, and they actually scrape along the ground for a little bit, and they're still down for. Actually, they're still down. They're still down. They haven't been brought up into the Y-wing, and maybe Pwoen doesn't know that that's something he's supposed to do, or he's forgotten. You notice that Yogan, being the squadron or section leader. What do you do?
Oh, right. That's. I guess that is my business, isn't it? Damn it. No, yeah. I'll tell them.
All right. Cool. So you give the Quarren the heads up that his landing skids are down. What's the tone like when you tell him, "Hey, idiot, your landing skids are down"?
It is very flat. It's just, I see your landing skids are down. That's all. It's not. There's no idiot. And it's not even implied. But there's also like no polite, hey, maybe this isn't your fault. But no, it's just like your landing skids are down.
Nice, cool. You hear, yes, going up now. And it's like he found the button, and so I'm curious, Grask, as you guys are flying through space, heading towards what you hope is a Gimsi system, because we haven't made the wayfinding roll. Is this comfortable to you? Like flying a starfighter versus maybe the tramp freighters or other smuggling operations shuttles that you flew before?
It's a nice ship. I wish I could just take it away, but I have this captain, sergeant, whatever he is, leader bozo with me, so he probably would shoot me if I stole it.
Yes, he definitely would.
I'm thinking of ways maybe to sell it to him eventually, because this is maybe easy run, but later, yeah. But flying this thing is kind of nice, I have to say. I could have gotten out of several situations if I had a thing like that.
Nice. All right, we will start off with our wayfinding roll. The lead wayfinder is Yogan. Yogan, you get to make that check. So, wayfind. When you lead a flight to a target by daylight, this is effectively a daylight move, or to your home base at any time. you find it. At night, roll plus skill. So you don't have to make a roll, but if you choose to make a roll and successfully wayfind, then you can check that off your list and you will be halfway to being approved for combat missions.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Roll plus skill.
It's a 6.
Okay. So
Clean. Mustafar, great idea. Let's go there. It's warm.
So let me ask a question about mission pool, because we didn't talk about that before. It starts at 0, resets to 0 after every mission. Help me remember, how do you guys build it up? I know you do it with the Zealot.
You can reach out, or I think act up. It's one of the choices on acting up, yes, and on reaching out.
All right, but it stays 0 unless you do those things.
Yeah, unless you have a move that builds it up.
Okay, cool. All right, so then it means you failed.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. So as you are dialing in the wayfinding rolls, you realize that there is a warning light that comes on inside your Y-wing. Checking it, you see that the communication narrow beam antenna is misaligned, which means that you have a good idea of where Gimsey is, but you don't have an easy way to communicate that to the rest of the section.
Huh.
What do you do?
So like I can't contact them, or
Yeah, your communications are off. You could do hand signals, you could get in visual, but yeah, your communications, the comma relay went offline.
Right. Okay. It lasted just long enough for me to remind somebody about that.
Exactly.
And then I just like dart in front of oh wait, no, I don't, because I'm not playing this thing. I told Grask. Wait, Grask is already in the lead. Cool, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just tell Grask which way to go, and hope everybody follows. Because
cool.
Yeah. Are you sure we should really go there? I mean, there are lots of other planets in the galaxy. Just say.
You want to go AWOL on our first training run?
Okay, it's maybe bad optics, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It was a joke. It was just a joke. Okay, it was. I'm not serious. Obviously, I want to see the Empire overthrown and the Republic restore justice and all that stuff.
It's that
So
way.
Cobb, you see that the lead starfighter starts to head in a direction, heading towards one of the planets in the system, but they're not communicating with you at all. Like, it's radio silent. What do you do?
I definitely feel like this is some sort of test that's being presented to us. So, like, I do a roll into the banking turn to follow wherever Grask is going. Like, Grask is not going to lose me with some kind of hot shot moves.
Cool. And that's when you hear the Jawa in his squeaky little language says, "What's going on? What's Grask? Section leader Yogan, what's going on? Wait, are we supposed to follow you? Do we break off? Am I supposed to break off? I'm going to break off. I'm going to break off. Okay. Do you want to break off with me, Ploan?" And Ploan the Quarren says, "No, just follow the lead starfighter. Just follow the lead. No, I'm going to break off." What do you do? Cobb and Delul, you guys are hearing this chatter.
What's going on?
It's got to be some kind of test. You guys make the decision that you think you need to make.
We just follow Cask, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just gonna let him go. So Optic is gonna break. He's gonna break off and kind of peels off and starts to head towards another area, maybe back to the Vinci station. Yogan, you see this. What do you do?
I'm like yelling uselessly at the comm, knowing perfectly well that maybe a little bit will get through and they'll hear no, but it's like it's not getting anywhere. I'm like trying to call one of the others and relay the message, and
This guy's already going on a holiday.
like kind of waving at him through the canopy, like, and obviously we're too far from to see that, so I think ultimately I just let them break up. Like they'll figure it out. It's fine.
Okay. All right. So your third starfighter is no longer in formation. However, second starfighter with Cobb and the reserve starfighter follow you guys in. You come to Gimsi, which is 2 planets from the Rimsey 2, where the Rimsey station is. It is a mostly watery planet, which might seem comfortable for Cobb and Delul. And soon you find yourselves flying over Bogos, which is the rebel-held city. And ahead is the fake target. So if someone wants to try to wayfind to pull in the target and set for the attack run, you can do so, because Diogen can't really communicate with you. Or we can just go ahead and have you make the lead attack run as your assignment, Cobb.
So everybody needs to do wayfinding at some point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it isn't just once per...
At some point within the 3 missions, somebody has it.
Yeah, I can do that.
You make sure we're getting in there nice and straight, Dalu?
Yes, I think we are straight on course still. It's still like it's still a training mission, right?
Yeah, nobody's gonna die.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't even think we have live bombs back there.
So, I think this is depending on my skills.
Yep, roll plus skill.
Let's see how that goes. That goes poorly, unfortunately. That's 3 minus 1 is 2.
Okay, a 2. All right, on a miss, either scrub the mission. Either scrub the mission and return in shame, or strike the target late and alone, forcing you to make your own attack run. You guys are already doing the attack run, so then I don't. You're gonna have to. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I guess you're gonna strike the target late and alone.
Yeah.
Starfighters relying on your navigation can choose which miscondition they would prefer. So that means that the starfighter relying on you leading the way would be Grask. You see that the leading the way for this wayfind is a failure. Do you want to? Do you want the miscondition of scrubbing the mission and returning in shame, or do you want to strike the target late?
This was just a training mission, so we can come late and it wouldn't matter so much. It would be
Totally
shameful anyway.
It's no shame. I mean, there's shame. There's totally shame. So, Grask, which miscondition do you want? Scrub the mission or make a late bomb?
Why do I have to choose? Okay, I choose. I want to come in. I think, well, I'd come in late because I'm really flying just wingman for these other guys. I'm waiting on them, right?
All right, cool.
I don't get to bomb anything anyway. It's a pity.
Actually, you have to make your own attack run, so you will get to bomb something. So the fail condition actually gives the opportunity to make an attack run anyway. It actually works out to your benefit.
Yeah, nice. Because these other dudes are hanging back. That's amazing. I mean, no, it's not. Because now I have to make an attack run.
Yep, we'll start with Cobb. You are in the lead. You get to make an attack run. This is on row 19 in the night moves. When you lead an attack on a target, roll plus guts. On a 10 plus, your payload connects. On a 7 to 9, it's a hit, and you choose 2 consequences.
All right, an 8.
An 8. Okay. So on a 7 to 9, it's a hit. go ahead and mark that you have made a successful attack run. Your 2 consequences. The damage to the target is not significant and it's your fault. You fly through a storm of flak, triggering enemy fire, or a starfighter in your section is damaged. I choose which starfighter, or you and your fellow pilot are marked.
What is marked again?
Great question. So marked, if you take a look at your character sheet, they start around row 40, and they are significant story events that you will fill the details of on once you make the choice of which mark it is. It can happen in flashback. It may not happen immediately. It could be a thing that happens very soon after, but effectively triggers, and that thing will become true. That makes sense?
Okay.
Some of them are actually cool.
They're definitely interesting.
Yeah, they are.
So I pick 2.
You pick 2 of those consequences.
I think given Delul's worries, we fly through a storm of flak.
Great.
And we are both marked.
Oh, gorgeous. I love marks. They're just so good. Okay, cool. That is great. So when your starfighter is hit by turbo lasers or flak. So if we look again at the duty station on this one, the aggressive fighter bomber escort from the ex-Imperial 217th Assault Regiment under Captain Greyhelm. The wayfinding role is optional. Potential enemy fire is actually friendly fire from their X-Wings or Nervous Rebellion anti-aircraft crews. Here's what happens. You guys failed so much of your wayfinding rolls that you end up buzzing Bogos, and they turned their AA guns on you guys because either it was not communicated properly to them, or more likely they thought that you were going to hit them, and that is the enemy fire that you have to endure. When your starfighter is hit by turbo lasers or flak, roll plus luck. Which of the 2 makes the roll, Bethany? Is that the pilot again?
I
think so,
think
but I want to make sure.
but I'm not sure it has to be.
Okay.
It never occurred to me that it didn't have to be the pilot, but I don't think it actually says it has to be.
Well, I'll give the pilot the choice because he's the pilot. You're going under enemy fire. Are you rolling?
Of course.
Right? You are pretty lucky. Let's see how it goes.
I am pretty lucky. That's an 11.
Wow. At a 10 plus, the old girl's in one piece and you are fine. That is awesome. So, you had a success on your bombing run. It took some enemy fire. Again, the enemy fire is coming from Bogos, and they have an actual turbo laser they dial in. They've got one of those weird grid things where they're firing on the Y-wing. Lasers come up from the ground. We'll say they're blue lasers because color differentiated lasers for the win. Cobb, how is it that you avoid that enemy fire? What does it look like?
It is a total spastic maneuver of just I imagine it's very unpleasant for Delul, although I don't know the anatomy of the Quarren very well. But if you're able to experience G's, your stomach is going all over the place in this as we're over here and over there. Oh yeah, and down again. And I'm just cackling with joy.
Nice. Sweet. You drop your bombs. They're just sand-filled, bomb-sized things that are very easy to budget for in the Alliance to Restore the Republic's overall schematics. And yes, those super great sound effects. Now, Grask, it is time for you to make your own attack run because you are late behind. You see this. You see the craziness that Cobb just pulled off.
Okay, then I'll go in carefully. No, I won't. I get a little bit carried away, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I will now go and see if I can bomb something, which I apparently can because I'm at a 9.
You got a 9? Oh, that's awesome. So on a 7 to 9, it's a hit.
Wait, I have this. There was something like somebody else has already done this, the others would get a +1? Or did I misread that? I misread that. That's okay. So there's no wait. I'm on the wrong. Damn you. My computer is not cooperating well right now. Where is that move? There's that move.
I'm
sorry.
dropping the options into chat. If you want to take a look at that, you
Yeah.
get 2 of those options. Damage to the
Cool.
target's not significant.
But, wait, after an attack run by a leader, if other pilots decide to make an additional attack run, they enjoy +1 forward.
That's right. So that will push you to a 10.
Yeah. See?
Oh wow.
Bam.
Good. You're absolutely right. Sorry, I didn't highlight that for you. But good job. That means you just plain succeed. That is exciting. And what does it look like, Grask, when you just see the Y-wing kind of fly past and you nail your bombing run?
Well, I've seen this little dance that Cobb did with a laser fire, and I feel inspired to go in another way where there isn't any laser fire, because now, thanks to this dance, I pretty much know where that is. So we'll just go low, drop the bombs, go high again. And I'm pretty good at going really low because that's where you usually fly under the radar. No, wait, I didn't mean to say that. But I probably really told Joran, I forgot what the name was. Jogan, right, Jogan. Yeah, well, tell them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ploen comes in and he drops his payload a little too late and ends up dropping sand on a place just like maybe half a click past the targets, and he peels up, but he seems to be any worse for wear. There's no crashing. He falls back into formation, and you guys will start heading back to Rimsey Station. I'm going to go now and just peek at Delul and Cobb's character sheets to see what marks we have. Oh, interesting. Oh, okay. There we go. Yep. Make it go wrong fast. There we go. Cool. So, Cab, tell us a little bit about this mark that you've chosen.
I went with the superstition, and things really looked bad at the beginning, but we totally completed it. And I think that, there's only so much luck on a mission. So you got to use all the bad luck up before you can get the good luck on the stuff that you want. Something's going to go wrong, and you better choose what it is.
Nice. And then for Delul, what did you choose? What mark did you choose?
I chose make a friend or take a lover. And I can't forget about this other Quarren in the other ship. And Ploen Warok is his name. And I continue whispering his name through my tentacles. And as some humans call them. We have another word for them, as Quarrens for sure. But I start adapting to this new environment. So, Ploen Warok. Ploen Varok. We need to meet. We will meet. I know.
Nice. Following your silent section leader, you head back to Rimsey Station because no one took... wait, let me make sure that before I say this without... The 2 options you took were enemy fire, where you were fine, and marked. So neither... I don't think either of you need to make the skids down move, because it seems like you are under effectively ideal circumstances for your successful attack runs. And you see all 3 of your Y-wings come into the hangar. You do not see Opteg and Rorwa or their Y-wing here in this particular hangar. And then last is Marin Tobin and her Y-wing with her Vasani, her astromech droid. And we kind of fade a little bit of time as you guys have all piled out of your cockpits, and we get to do a little bit of the move called debrief. So if you look in the moves, when you debrief after a mission, you get to tell your chief of staff or squadron commander what went right and what went wrong, and may inflict stress harm as established. So I think I could have easily inflicted stress harm on that mixed result, but I forgot, so I'm not going to go backtrack, but maybe it will happen here. So all 6 of you, because we have the third starfighter, Poen and Grughung, the female Gamorrean, and I'm imagining that like she can't even like button up the flak jacket. It just kind of is just open with some furry thing underneath. It's not good. She's super out of uniform. But yeah, all 6 of you come into a conference room, and the Twi'lek female, your regiment commander, Marain Tobin, says, Section Leader Yogan, please make your report.
Those of us who made it there, we successfully bombed our targets. We had a comm failure early on. Have the other 2 made it back yet?
They have successfully landed. However, they have washed out and will not be returning. Please tell me why your comms, you stopped communicating with your section.
Our comms were down. We attempted to contact them several times, and apparently no signal at all was getting through. We could hear them, but they couldn't hear us.
And that's something you didn't see in the pre-flight check?
They worked initially. I'm not sure what happened between takeoff and when I tried to contact them, but they did work when we left.
And you did not ask your navigator to attempt to adjust?
I was the navigator. I was.
Oh, okay. So you didn't actually go out and fix the antenna.
Not while we were in flight. No. That seemed like a bad decision.
So you let a member of your section fail.
I
lack of communication.
I assumed they would follow us.
And did they?
No, obviously not. The others did, but
Technically, sir, they didn't follow us. So that's on us. We knew that it was part of the training exercise to deal with the unexpected occurrences that might happen when you're out there in the field. So we did follow our commander, but the rest of the train didn't pull up with us.
That's true.
Was it part of the training?
The pre-flight check for the slightly broken antenna? Yes, it was part of the training. If you had made sure that your mechanic was on top of his game, that would not have happened. The Y-wings are tricky.
True.
You must learn how to adjust. And you cannot let your section fail again.
No, we can't let our section fail again.
Get a new helmet.
This is tricky. The helmet. Was that also
Junior
part
Lieutenant,
of the training?
you, as far as I'm concerned, you're out of uniform. You need to speak with Lieutenant Poen and find out where he got his helmet. because I do not want to see you with that mess again on your head.
Okay, I will talk to him.
6 of you are dismissed. And I'm going to go ahead and give 1 harm to each of you from stress. Unless Grask, I mean, do you feel like you were stressed there, Grask, or not? You tell me.
I wasn't stressed. I mean, nothing about this was my fault. And then that cop guy saved our bacon, so I didn't feel stressed. You're stressed when a hut dangles you over a volcano. That's when you're stressed. This?
Okay.
Nothing.
All right, so everyone takes 1 harm except for Grask, who's kind of a misanthrope. So now we will shift to daytime. So the day moves are in effect. You guys have not exactly the run of the duty station, but Rimsey Station is here. We have just a little bit of time left in today's session, so I just want to see if anyone has a particular scene they want. Now, the good news is for all of you that you successfully made it out of your first mission. Anyone participating gets an advance, but must choose deepening ties and regard. So let's talk about how that works. I'm going to use Yogan as our quick example, and then we'll talk about if anybody has some scenes they want to do. So, where's deepening ties? Crap.
If you go down
Here?
to advancement,
Deepening ties advancement. Yep. There we go. Cool. So the way that it works is on deepening ties, which is on row 18. If you go from 0 of 4 to 1 of 4, bam, you get deepening ties, and it opens up. So you now in your regard, you will say I trust, love, admire, respect, hate, resent, pity, fear, etc. And then a fellow soldier or your starfighter that you just flew in the most. And then now you now have regard, positive or negative, but regard. You have +1 ongoing for any move directed at what you have regard for. However, whenever you lose what you have regard for, you will take 1 harm immediately. So choose carefully, friends. So each of you get to do deepening ties with a fellow soldier or the starfighter you were in. Unfortunately, you guys were really successful, so I don't know why. It's a bummer. It's a real bummer. But you can. You can if you want to have regard for your starfighter. Any questions? Is that clear enough? Everybody okay with that? Good. Cool. There are no medals for doing a training run, sorry.
but nobody died.
That is true. And only 1 of 4 starfighters had people who washed out. So that's also good. Delul, what have you chosen for regard?
I pity Cap the most, because I've seen his destiny, their destiny.
It appears that Cobb, you've also chosen regard.
Didn't we have to choose regard?
Yeah, no, I see you've
Oh.
actually chosen it. I won't
Oh,
read it
wow,
aloud.
okay. Like,
Sorry,
wait
that
minute.
was a very obtuse statement. Sorry about that. Please read to us the regard you have
That was the
chosen.
thing that you did. I admire Yogan the most because I felt like that was a really straightforward and honest way of trying to protect people under their command. And that's the kind of person that I'm excited to be enlisted with.
Nice. Grusk, you have deepening ties in regard for someone. Are you still? Oh, it looks like you're still adjusting.
No, I'm done. But the line is too short. I don't like, but I respect Cap the most because he's useful, yeah. And he's got quick thinking. I respect quick thinking. I might not like him, okay, but he is a good guy to have on your team.
And then Yogan, what is the regard that you have chosen?
I distrust Grask the most. He seems very unreliable. Like the very first time we get in the ship and he's immediately like, "Oh, let's not go to where we're supposed to go." Like, why are you
Steal
even
this
here? Yes,
Oh, that's
I
great.
have no idea what he's here for and what his deal is, and I am just not going to rely on him at all for anything ever.
Nice. So let's now, with our remaining time, we're going to stop in about 10 minutes so that we can do post game stuff. But with the remaining 10 minutes, does anyone have a particular scene that they would try to do? Now, this scene will help you to, and we'll open next session with a few scenes as well. But this scene will help you to hopefully build your mission pool. Those fails that you guys had, if you had any mission pools, you could spend it, and then you could actually boost your roll. So mission pool comes from acting up or opening up to others, and selling people out, but no one's playing a zealot. So,
And does Scrounge also do stuff?
it allows you to get things that are desperately needed to help out.
Oh, and you can add to the mission pool. Because I noticed that you get a plus rolling that here because it's so well stocked.
Yeah, so scrounge would be a good idea.
I'm mostly worried about getting rid of some of my harm because I had my face smashed in and emotional harm. So,
Yeah,
not doing great. Which I think just reach out is the one that I
Yep.
noticed. Okay.
it's reach out. Otherwise, you have to go to hospital, which takes you potentially out of action. So, who do you want to reach out to?
So reaching out, I'm going to need to reveal a new truth. I think let's go with Yogan.
Nice. So where do you find Yogan? We're going to say that, like, you guys, this is over a day, right? So there's a mess hall. There's areas where you go into the hangar and check out your Y-wings. There are other places on ship where you can get training. There's even a little like a little store type deal. There are other places you can go on station.
Yogan is obsessively checking out the Y-wings now. Having learned from his mistake.
Oh, and you're adept at repair. Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you would probably be pretty easy to find there. So I'll come up to Yogan, kind of lead it off with it was bold of you to go into the mission not repairing that. It really tested us.
Well, it seemed. I think the really bold thing would be to have tried to go out and repair it really quick while we were on the way, but that seemed
amazing. Oh no. Is that that's not, is that a thing that we would do? Not a thing.
You can do it apparently, because I got chewed out for not doing it. So
is that only if you're the navigator? I'm just asking. I would.
I think it depends on where you are, but I hope if you're moving toward anything that the pilot would stay put. So
yeah. No, you wouldn't get out if you were the pilot. Look, they didn't get you, did they?
No, not really. I was expecting them to find something wrong. I just I gave them a really obvious one.
That's the trick, right? The bosses are going to find something wrong, so you've got to do something obvious for them to find, or else they're going to start criticizing the subtle maneuvers that you've done at look, I've read the Y-wing manual. I know it's not rated for those acrobatic maneuvers I was doing, but they didn't say anything about it because they were so worried about the antenna that you left for them to find.
That is not a bad idea. Oh, I like that. Do something stupid and obvious but I mean, how do you know you're going to need it?
Oh, we'll need it.
You're right. This is training. We should expect them to find fault even when there isn't any. So we should just give them one up front. That's not a bad idea.
You've dealt with people like this before on your homeworld, right? Where's it
Everybody
different?
has. There's
You don't actually have to answer.
yeah. I don't remember how to pronounce
Nice
it.
name.
Okay. Yeah. Kesh, that's it. Yeah, everybody has, right? I think it's universal. I think there are people of every species that are like that. That's who they hire to train people, right? They don't hire people who are not going to notice little flaws and big ones like not inspecting your antenna.
Wait, you consider that a big one?
They do. I mean,
Okay.
a big one would have been crashing. That would have been a big flaw.
Yeah, maybe next time.
I hope not.
Oh, have you never crashed before?
No, I try not to.
I mean, it's something you have to practice. You have to know how to do it right.
Doing it right would be landing.
Crashing's just a different kind of landing. Look, next time, assign yourself to navigate with me, and I'll show you what I mean.
I'll keep that in mind. Yeah.
Look, I cannot tell you how many ships I crash back on deck.
No, do tell me. I want to know this.
Well, I mean, I stopped counting after the first half dozen or so, but
How are you alive?
I'm good at what I do.
Crashing ships. What kind of ships were these? That you
Well,
I want to pause and have you make your reach out roll right now, because this could be the point of like, if you fail this roll, it's like, yeah, I think that your section commander will be convinced you're lying.
Look like an idiot. Is it just a straight roll, or how does it go?
It's a straight roll. It's just roll.
Well, that's unfortunate because it is now a 6.
Okay. On a miss, your efforts are ineffective, misunderstood, or understood all too clearly. So,
yeah, you're full of shit. There's no way this is true.
Yeah, full of poodoo.
Poodoo, that's the word, yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Awesome. If you guys don't mind, maybe you continue telling the story, but we kind of pull away from that.
Yeah.
I see in the chat that maybe there's another scene in mind.
Well, Dalul wants to meet somebody, but he needs somebody to stand cave because we can't legally meet, and I wanted to ask the only person I trust so far here, and that is Grask. And I might also need to talk about what happened afterwards and reach out if Grask is fine talking about such things with me.
I hope so.
Sorry. I'm sorry. This is my laptop. I have no mouse, so I'm just fiddling around with the touchpad. Yeah, Grass is totally fine talking to you.
Okay.
He's just mumbling about why there are no Tuluvian grangle worms on the station, nowhere to be gotten. It's so bad.
Do you eat them normally, or what do you do with these worms?
I eat them.
Oh, you eat them?
Yeah, they're very tasty. No, there are some guys that train them, but I eat them.
They look too similar to my tentacles, so I wouldn't like to eat them.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But your
By the
tentacles.
way, talking about eating tentacles, thank you for offering the quarters for me and Powen. That was really nice of you.
Yeah, sure.
But I have a problem.
Yeah, speak up.
Powen. I love Powen.
Oh.
But he already has a partner.
Wow.
A human partner.
Oh, that won't last.
But he says it's important to him. That's how he got the helmet.
Yeah, that won't last even shorter. Well, that's not the word. But you know what I mean, right? He's with them for the helmet? Come on, he's got the helmet.
Yeah. But he's also very much depending, I think, on that human.
Yeah, okay, that's a problem.
And that is a problem, yes.
So
So he told me even that he would kill me if anybody would find out about me and him and what we did. It's so important for him. No, there I am, and I feel like crashing. And a friend of mine once told me that crashing is just a different kind of landing. And
it's the kind of landing where you can't start immediately. That's the difference. It's pretty important at some point, maybe, if you have to get out. You don't want to crash, right?
no, I'm gonna do what I do.
Yeah. Oh, you do you, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh god. Maybe I've read somewhere in the regulations that you shouldn't partner up with somebody if you're in the army, but I guess that's a lot. That's a lot of voodoo anyway. So what you've got to be thinking about is how to get rid of
Can I
this
tell you
human.
something?
Yeah, sure.
When you look around, they all do it with each other here.
Yeah,
This regulation is just on paper.
yeah, it's true.
But not with humans.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe just get rid of that human.
I think I should pick up the dice now.
Yes.
Yes, please.
And that's without adding any skill. I can't use my luck, right? Because if I can't, then it's just a 6. On reach out,
no.
I think you don't add anything.
No, you don't.
If you trust Grask, that's a target. They're the target of that role, right?
Yes, but I don't have
Oh,
regard.
never mind. Yeah, it's never. I saw your regard now.
Just in the. I could have changed that if I had not failed. But therefore, it's a miss, and your efforts are ineffective, misunderstood, or understood all too clearly. Maybe I understood something all too clearly about getting rid of a human.
Maybe I understood that. Maybe that's what I thought you were saying. Misunderstood is totally. That would be a great misunderstanding, really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a murder plot. That is amazing. I adore this. I'm a fan. Cool. So let's, for the purpose of today's session, bring things to a close.
Sorry.
Yes. Oh, is there something I'm missing?
No, I was just cursing my earpod.
I actually realized that I do have regard for Yogan, so I would have had a 7 on that roll.
Oh, nice. So go ahead and make your choice.
Definitely harm.
Okay, go ahead and heal 1 harm.
Maybe you're not full Purdue after all. Maybe I think I walk away with like this little doubt. Like,
Yeah.
maybe, no way.
It's gotta be a lie. Cool. Oh, it's a maybe, sorta. That's good. Glad you remembered that. I'll have to remind people the regard is really important because like your stats suck in this game. Cool. So that will bring our session to a close. There are no end of session moves. So we will move to feedback. My friends, this is important to me. We have 7 minutes left in our time because this is maybe an ill-advised hack of Night Witches, but we shall see. So we'll do our normal roses and thorns. We start with thorns. Thorns are missed opportunities, things where Rich got the rules terribly wrong. Any aspect of this hack that you're like, that just doesn't work in my head, anything along those lines. And let me remind you, friends, I am the child of a Marine Corps sergeant who served in Vietnam and then became a high school principal. I can handle your critical feedback, I promise you. I've heard worse. And it was accurate then, and your feedback will be helpful for me now. Cool. So who would like to go first with thorns? I will call on people.
The concept of speciesism, I tried my best to grasp it, but as somebody from outside of the Star Wars universe, it all still looks like the Muppet Show to me, and
Fair.
and that is still difficult, and I think it's a challenge worth going for, but it's difficult to take it serious sometimes. But I do my best, and I feel the pain between
Good.
humans and aliens. Yeah, but it's the Muppet Show thing is sometimes hard, and yeah.
I wonder if maybe choosing Gamorreans and Wookiees and Jawas might have set us at a weird angle there, to a little more of the amusing angle. I think I maybe could have limited some of those species to be a little closer. But I will say, the Quarren and the helmet thing, like, and the boots thing, those were some of the best kind of you don't fit in this mold moments for me. But I also hear you that it's a wild and woolly universe, and keeping it completely serious can be a thing. So I think that's something to be cognizant of. Thank you, Garrett, very much. Who'd like to go next?
I guess I don't know if it is a thorn, but it's the closest thing I have. It did seem like I haven't played Night Witches straight, but it seems like that is more of the oppression is a darker kind of angle, and this did sort of feel like the things that we got were more funny than actually like oppressive. Just like our uniforms kind of don't fit, and we look comical. And we're going to go do the job looking funny, rather than like they want us to fail because they hate us, which I'm not necessarily against, but it was just a disconnect with what I had been expecting.
That's a fair point, and I think that a contributor to that is that you guys didn't do much day, like you didn't have to go scrounge, you didn't have to deal with any humans. Like I think I did a poor job of integrating the number of humans you guys interacted with that would cause this to be much more obvious that the majority of people at Rimsey Station have no desire for you to be successful whatsoever. So that's a really good piece of feedback that I'm going to try to integrate into the next session, because we start with day cycle, so I'm going to make it really obvious. And I'm just like putting this out there mostly so when I see it in the recording, Garrett, Delul will need to scrounge to obtain a helmet. So that's a move that we'll need to engage, and that'll be interesting. And I'll keep in mind what Keith said and make you feel terrible, but not in a Muppet way. Thank you, Keith.
Can I jump into this discussion?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I actually thought that wasn't too bad, because this is the rebellion we're working for. They are in some way the good guys, so that this is not as harshly played as sexism in the Russian army. I don't mind that at all. Actually, I'm rather happy with the tone we have now. So,
and I will say that as you guys go on more missions and deal with the humans, I think it's going to become more obvious that there are people you work alongside who don't want you to be successful, but that doesn't necessarily have to shift our tone too hard towards the grim dark. I'll do my best to try to balance those, because I do want to bring as much of Night Witches as I can through the Star Wars lens. But I appreciate that, Sabine. Did you have any thorns since you still have the floor?
there were a lot of tabs, but that might be the case because I'm on my laptop and controlling my whole cursor isn't as easy as it is on my desktop at home.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe having a squad summary and having each of you have your own tabs is maybe a little overkill. I wonder about that. There might be a way I can consolidate this thing to make it a little easier. because there's a lot. Like there's a lot for me, and I have a whole other monitor that I keep glancing over that has all the tabs, and I can see 2/3 of the tabs. And I've got a big 23-inch monitor. Well, big for me. People have bigger monitors, and I'm jealous of them. Anything else, Bean? Okay, Bethany.
Just like a quick comment on the tone. Every time I played Night Witches, it's bounced back and forth a lot, which it seems like usually seems pretty lighthearted to start with, and then somebody makes a bad roll and dies, and suddenly you're like, oh wait, this is serious. So that it could still get dark, in spite of the tone so far. Also, like a small rules thorn that I didn't want to bring up at the time because, I didn't. But even when you roll a 10+ on the attack run, you have to choose a consequence.
Do you? Oh crap! I missed that. Oh snap! Your payload connects. Choose one. Oh, I missed that. Thank you so much. We'll definitely keep that in mind because that's cool, right? Like when you rolled your 10+, I felt kind of like I was like, oh, that's boring. You got 10+. Oh, boo. And it should have been a consequence. So thank you. That actually makes me feel like better for sessions 2. Embarrassed that I missed the 2 words choose one, but better. So yeah, good. Because I was like, oh man, nothing happens other than good stuff. That doesn't feel like a Jason Morningstar game. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Something bad happens no matter what.
Yay! Any other thorns, Bethany? Thank you for that.
No, that was all.
Cool. We'll stick with you for roses. This is positive feedback to your fellow players or any particular moments of the game that you quite enjoyed. And if anybody, we're at time. If anybody needs to go right now, feel free to drop. No worries. No stress whatsoever. Hopefully this won't take too long.
Roses to Garrett. For like coming in with a character who already had this like weird, complicated, problematic, like everything about her was like, I'm here because I had a dream about my fellow pilot who I've never met before, but but he has this destiny he's got to fulfill, and I pity him. And oh, by the way, I just fell in love with another person. Just like every possible, and he's dating a human, so now I have to kill the human. Every possible opportunity to complicate it, you went for it. That was awesome. I love it.
It was very someone is stuck my Pasiones de la Pasiones in the middle of this starfighter drama, and I was here for it too. Thank you, Bethany. That's great. Sabine, what roses did you have?
Roses for everybody that those characters really sing. I loved especially Cobb, who was at the beginning such a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed recruit, but he's a realist, and I actually enjoyed seeing that side of him. And I wonder if my character eventually will as well. So yeah, and Rich, I enjoyed a new take on the Star Wars universe very much.
Good. Thank you, Sabine. Keith, what roses did you have?
I really enjoyed seeing we started with like very nebulous character concepts, very light on the character creation end, and it just felt like everybody crystallized quickly, and seeing the characters bounce off of each other and kind of define themselves that way was very satisfying. So I'm excited to see, especially with the different pairings that could happen going out on runs, how that's going to change each of the PCs.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. And we'll have a new PC as we expand to 4-player characters in next session. So that's exciting. Thank you, Keith. Anything else? Did I cut you off? You're good? Okay. All right. Garrett, what roses would you like to share with the team?
I have this very special rose for you, Rich, because I hadn't played with you for such a long time. And
it's been forever.
And now I'm back, and it feels like from the very beginning, since we first played together. I mean, there are just what Keith described you, like there are all these characters, you throw them into the air like balls, and then you start juggling with them. It all works as if it was planned. And this hack of this game is so amazing. I find it really fascinating. So for me, it's Star Wars plus Night Witches. I have opportunities to dive into two things I always wanted to know more about. And yeah, with this crew and with all of you, that is so fantastic to do. Yeah, I'm sad that I can't be there next weekend. But being there again for the final episode to see who is still alive. Yeah. Yeah, and for sure also, Bethany, cool that you guided us through with all your experience, and that made a very warm feeling of knowing that it always things go in the right direction. So that was very helpful, like having such a good pilot in the seat, plus Rich the navigator.
Pilot and poor communicator, which is seems appropriate actually.
Yes.
Nice. I really appreciate all of you for being open to trying something weird, an odd Reese Cup combination that even the games designer was like, good luck. And I gotta say, this was really fun. Like, there are some things that I think I can tweak and do even better, but I don't feel disheartened. I feel like invigorated that there's something here. You guys are gonna make this work, and I'm really interested in finding out what happens to this section next week. Thank you all for making such a vibrant and interesting characters and being game to trying something a little odd. Thank you again, and thanks for anyone who's watching. Gauntlet Con, Google it, October 24th through the 27th. It's awesome, and you can play with these folks. I guarantee you'll at least play with one of us. Almost guarantee, like kind of guarantee, but not like legally binding guarantee. So it's guarantee like in the puffer sense. Until we will end broadcast before I keep babbling. Have a good evening, my friends across the pond, and a good afternoon too.